with me, Tom Russell. On Clyde One every Friday night from midnight through until 2 in the morning. Our special guests tonight are Jack Bruce and Gary Moore. As you know, they've formed a band, a three-piece band with Ginger Baker. They've called the band BBM. They have an album, it's out, and it's doing pretty well for them. They played in the Barrowland just 2 or 3 months back. I was there. It was a brilliant show. I'm going to talk to Jack Bruce and Gary Moore. Next. And welcome to Clyde One, welcome to Glasgow. A couple of gentlemen were last up here just a couple of months ago playing a sellout show at the Barrowland. Jack Bruce and Gary Moore from BBM. Welcome again to Glasgow.
Hi. Hello.
First time I spoke to you, Gary, or the last time I spoke to you, Gary, was you had just finished recording the first blues album. And it hadn't been released. We did a big interview, and you were a bit nervous. How's it going to go, you know? And,
yeah, I am now, actually.
And it ended up doing the business for you. You must have been quite pleased at that. The success that you got with a couple of blues albums.
Yeah, it was great. It was a very enjoyable time doing, all three of the blues albums, and it kind of it was a really good way to sort of go back to your roots and start again, and lead me to where I am now, really, which is with this BBM. And I'd kind of gotten to the point again where it was time to make another change for me musically. So yeah, it was a really good time, the whole thing. It was great.
Gary Moore and Jack Bruce from the band are our guests on Clyde One tonight. Gary, can I ask you to tell us the story of how the whole thing came together?
Yeah, we take turns at it.
It's your turn.
Well, what happened was last year Jack was doing some dates around Europe, and his guitarist, a guy called Blues Saraceno, left suddenly to join an American band called Poison. And so Jack called me up. There was one date that he had to finish up in Germany, and it was a very special show for him. It was a show that did you do it every year? You've done it a couple of times.
Something like that, yeah. But this was a rather special one, for a few reasons. Yeah.
And so, I jumped at the chance to work with Jack again, because we hadn't really worked together for a long time, and we'd worked together on a Cozy Powell album quite a long time ago on one song, and Jack had sang on one of my solo albums on a track called End of the World. I think it was my first solo album, Corridors of Power.
That's right, yeah.
And so we sort of kept in touch over the years, but we hadn't really done anything together musically since. So of course, I jumped at it and went out to Germany, and we did this show together in a big kind of a circus tent, and the whole thing it went so well. I was so just blown away by the whole thing.
It was great too, I thought.
Yeah, so but, I mean, we just we both enjoyed it so much that we thought about writing some stuff when we got back to England. And it just kind of went.
Can I jump in, because what we started to do really was to write some things for a Gary Moore record.
Yeah,
really. I mean, it wasn't, at that time. We hadn't thought about doing about having a band. We were going to.
Well, I had.
Well, we hadn't really been sort of spoken about or anything like that. We really thought about. That's what we were trying to write.
Yeah,
anyway.
we were just writing.
And then, for various reasons, Ginger sort of came along. And as soon as he came along, it just became a band. I mean, it just was as simple as that. Once the three of us sort of played together in the studio, it was just a band, and it was not really anything you could do about it. You could say, well, I'm going to go home and stay at home, but it was a band, So it kind of got its own kind of impetus, and we just sort of had to go along with it.
We had to be there.
We had to be there, really. Yeah. You had to be there.
And Gary and Jack are our guests on Clyde One tonight. Jack, we were talking earlier about live gigs, but of course the BBM, you put some live gigs together just a couple of months back. Did a handful round about the UK, including one at the Barrowland, which I got along to and thoroughly enjoyed. Your memories of that show?
I thought it was great. I mean, it's really funny because that was our first real proper rock and roll gig. We did a sort of how could you describe that? We played at the Marquee, which was Well, it was a secret gig that everybody seemed to know about, and except us, and we kind of, I think we got so. I know I got so nervous that. Well, what happened was the band sort of split up. Really, that night we all got so into it.
Yeah.
And if the slightest little thing went wrong, it was like ah. And when terrible things went wrong, it was really bad.
It's even more.
So we all went in different directions. And I was so happy that we had the chance to play somewhere as real as the Barrowlands, because it sort of made us, I think it made us realise the potential of the band, and what a great audience. I mean, that's, I've always found that, though. I mean, I remember going way back, I was in this band with Tony Williams and John McLaughlin and Larry Young, and we had a lot of problems with that band because it was kind of new what we were doing. But we played in Glasgow, and the West. Was that place on the hill that used to be Hill Street or wherever it was?
Yes, just off Sauchiehall Street.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called now.
That was a great gig.
In the old days, wasn't it Picasso?
I keep thinking about the Mayfair, but it's not.
No, it's round the corner from the Mayfair.
Yeah, and it was like, honestly, it was like playing in the old Fillmore or something. All the audience were like stretched out on the floor, and it was brilliant, and that made that band carry on. And I think the audience in Glasgow got a lot to answer for, because I think they gave us a lot of hope, a lot of belief in ourselves, because they had a great time, and they made us have a great time, and they made us really play the best we could. And I think we all loved it,
Yeah,
I could see that, but I was.
But bear in mind that was it wasn't. It's not like something that we'd done a lot. This was really our first proper
gig.
Right.
Gig,
I can see the two of you. There was various occasions throughout the show when the two of you were going up close to each other.
Well, yeah.
And you were smiling at each other and jamming. You seem to be jamming. And
we do a lot. Yeah, I mean, we do. I mean, that's the thing about this band that is so great, that every night it is different. There are different things happening all the time, and it's it's a challenge really to play.
It was a real, for me, obviously, going back to. I'm going to play in Glasgow, which obviously I still, like everybody who comes from Glasgow, you never leave it, it's always there in your heart, kind of thing. And to go back there and to have a great audience like that, was brilliant.
I hadn't been there for 7 years or something, I think.
Is it as long as that?
Yeah.
I mean, it can be a very difficult place to play, Glasgow. I mean, going way back to when I was with Graham Bond in like 1965, I think it was, playing the Empire in Glasgow. That was with the Chuck Berry review or whatever it was, with the Moody Blues and all this. That was a disaster. Total disaster. And even when we played with the Cream, we played the Locarno with the Cream. There was not very many people there. So it can be quite a difficult place to play. So for us, I thought it was really great that that it just was brilliant, a great audience.
Another memory that I've got from it, a dead clear memory, was this guy just along from me, and throughout the whole set, every time there's a wee quiet second, he shouted, "Gary, Gaze Parisian Walkways."
Did he?
And I was watching your face.
I didn't hear him.
You didn't? Well, you kept smiling, and I thought, that man's going to lose his temper one of these.
No, I don't.
You didn't hear him?
No, it's when you're up there and it's all going on, a lot of that, your concentration's taken up. And
no, I was going to ask.
I was just thinking the same, knock your fork off and something, that kind of thing.
Yeah, a bit of repartee is always good in Glasgow. It goes down well.
The encore, round about encore time, Ginger vanished. Did he simply go for did he go for a pee?
He does, yeah. He's got this, it sounds terrible to say that, I mean, for a rock and roll star, but he's got a weak bladder. I mean, I bet you wouldn't have said that about somebody who I don't know.
Max Roach.
Max Roach. But he does. We do have to consider Ginger's bladder in the set. I think we should kick it around.
I think they're changing the name to Slack Bladder, like Black Sabbath, but that's their nickname, isn't it?
Whose idea was the after you put it all together, You recorded the album and everything was fine, and then someone somewhere came up with an idea. Let's take a photograph of Ginger with a pair of wings stuck in his back.
That's not a photograph. That's the way he really is.
We have to hide those on stage. We have to paint them
he's
black.
got his special jackets and that.
They're folded up behind him. No, we were just in the photographic studio shooting a lot of different press things.
So Wim Wenders got on the phone and said,
"Yeah,
look, I've got these wings that you can rent."
No, they were just there in the studio, and it was actually for fun at the time. And the photographs just turned out so great. We thought it was a really special photograph, and we thought it would make a very strong image for the band. And also, we actually had the title before that, didn't we? So Around the Next Dream, and we thought it fitted very well with the title because angels and dreams and everything.
Well, it's also
all connected.
So great to sort of annoy all the sort of politically correct people in America who when they saw that picture, because he's smoking something, and they said, "Oh, we can't have this. He's smoking a cigarette," and they said, "No, it's not. It's not a cigarette." They said, "Oh, that's all right then.
That's okay."
So it was obviously meant to be.